Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 23, Devahūti's Lamentation. So Devahūti and Kardama Muni, now they have this very beautiful aerial mansion, and Devahūti suddenly felt very remorseful because of her worn out body, which was involved in great austerity. And Sarvabhuta Shayadbhikaha, that Kardama Muni now realizing this, he smiled at her. Now we come to text 23. Nimajjasmin hृदे भीरु vimanam idamaruha idam shaklakrutam tirtham ashisham yapakam nrupam.
Translation: My dear Devahūti, you look very much afraid. First bathe in Lake Bindu Sarovar, created by Lord Vishnu himself, which can grant all the desires of a human being, and then mount this airplane. Purport: It is still the system to go to places of pilgrimage and take a bath in the water there. In Vrindavan, people take baths in the river Yamuna. In other places, such as Prayaga, they take baths in river Ganges. The words Tirtham Ashisham Yapakam refer to the fulfillment of desires by bathing in a place of pilgrimage. Kardama Muni advised his good wife to bathe in Lake Bindusarovar so that she could revive the former beauty and luster of her body. Hare Krishna.
So realizing her mind, Kardama said, "You look very much afraid, Devahūti. Now you please take your bath in Bindu Sarovar, where the desires of the human beings they are fulfilled." In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains there are many Tirtha Kshetra, and one of the very important duty is one should go to Tirtha Kshetra and take bath in the holy places. So in Vrindavan, we go to Yamuna, or then at other places like Mayapur, we go to Ganga. Then there is Vrindavan, Shyamakund, Radhakund, and then there are. So these are the places. So here it is especially talked about Lake Bindu Sarovar to revive one's former beauty and luster of her body. So this was in the case of Devahūti. Former beauty for a living entity is Jivera Swarupa hai Krishnera Nityadas. Okay, so that is our real beauty. So real beauty is to become devotee of the Lord, be re-established in the glory of devotional service. And this is the purpose one should be taking bath. So as soon as we get down at the holy place, one should immediately offer prostrated obeisances, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji's, Mataji's, they offer Panchanga Pranam. Apply the dust of the holy place to one's head, and then very reverentially one should enter the holy river. Text 24. सदद्भर्तु समादाय वचः कुवलये क्षणां सरजं बिभ्रतो वासो वेणीभूतांश्च मूर्धजान्. Translation.
Translation: The lotus-eyed Devotee accepted the order of her husband. Because of her dirty dress and the locks of matted hair on her head, she did not look very attractive. But it appears that Devotee's hair had remained uncombed for many years and had become complicated in tangles. In other words, she neglected her bodily dress and comforts to engage in the service of her husband. Hare Krishna.
Now Devahūti, who is Kuvalayakshana. Kuvalayakshana means the lotus-eyed Devahūti. She accepted the instruction of her husband Kardama Muni. Her dress was very dirty. Dirty means dusty. And the locks of the matted hair on her head, she did not look very attractive. So the chapter has begun with the previous chapter we have seen, beauty of Devahūti. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that Devahūti's hairs remained uncombed for many years because she was the yogini, completely engaged in the service of Kardama Muni, and it had just become complicated in the tangles. So just like we don't comb the hair for many or few days, then what will happen? So no, she had not done it for years together. So it was like jata and all around like that. She had completely neglected her bodily dress and beauty and comforts to engage in the service of Kardama Muni, very exalted sage. So this is how she was completely engaged. And beauty, right? Beauty to everyone, and especially beauty to the woman, beauty to the Rajakanya is very precious. And she was known for being beautiful. And this instance, that Vishwavasu falling from the aeroplane, was a universe famous instance. She is a daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. And Kardama Muni, although he is engaged in tapasya way somewhere else, he also had heard about this from Narada Muni and other sages, what had happened. Right. So this much beautiful how Devahūti was. And such Devahūti completely was so engaged that she was completely engaged without caring for her anything of herself. Text 25. Angam chamala pankena sachannam shabalastanam avivesha sarasvatya sarashiva jalashayam. Translation.
Her body was coated with a thick layer of dirt, and her breasts were discolored. She dove, however, into the lake, which contained the sacred waters of the Saraswati.
Yes. So she was not in a very good shape when she entered the water, Saraswati. Bindu Sarovar, which is also on the banks of Saraswati. Text 26. Santah Sarasi Vishmansya Shatani Dashakanyaka Sarva Kishora Vayaso Dadarshotpata Lagandhaya. Translation.
In a house inside the lake, she saw 1,000 girls, all in the prime of youth and fragrant like lotuses.
So when she entered the lake, she saw 1,000 girls who were all assistant to Devahūti and who were themselves in the prime of the youth and fragrant like lotuses. So on the higher planets, you don't have to use deodorant, right? Because the bodies don't stink so much. In the lower systems, and more we go in the lower in the modes of Rajogun and then Tamogun, the bodies will stink a lot. But in on the higher planetary systems, the bodies will be very fragrant bodies. Okay. And this we can see even in this planet, right? Although it may not be fragrant bodies, but at least the stinking goes up when the mode becomes very darker, mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. So, but here there is a reality which exists beyond our own plane of existence. Text 27. Tam drishtva sahasotthaya projuh pranjalaya striyah vayam karma karistubhyam shadhinah karavamakim. Translation.
Seeing her, the damsels suddenly rose and said with folded hands, "We are your maidservants. Tell us what we can do for you." Purport. While Devahūti was thinking of what to do in that great palace in her dirty clothes, there were at once, by the yogic powers of Kardama Muni, 1,000 maidservants prepared to serve her. They appeared before Devahūti within the water and presented themselves as her maidservants, simply awaiting her orders.
Yeah. So these damsels, sahasa utthaya, suddenly they saw Devahūti and they just folded hands. They said, "We are karmakari. We are, we are your maid servants. Please tell, what can we do for you?" And these were like 1,000 beautiful girls whose bodies were fragrant, and Devahūti with the matted locks of hair, with the dress completely uncared for, very, very dusty. And that is how she is entering there. So purport Srila Prabhupada writes, this is the potency of the yogic power of Kardama Muni, that not only it was filled with mansion, the birds, and the beautiful mansion it was also filled with so many of the maid servants, which were from the higher planetary systems. They had arrived there to take care of Devahūti. Text 28. स्नानेन तां महारणेन स्थापयित्वा मनस्विनीं दुकुले निर्मले नूत्ने दुदुरस्य च मानदा. Translation.
The girls, being very respectful to Devahūti, brought her forth, and after bathing her with valuable oils and ointments, they gave her fine, new, spotless clothes to cover her body. Thank you.
So Devahūti was served by these girls in a very, very reverential manner. Manada. So Manada means offering all respects to Devahūti. Devahūti, who was Manaswinim. Very beautiful word this is. Manaswini. Manaswini means very, very virtuous personality, the way Devahūti was. Snanena, they very respectfully brought her forth. So after bathing her with valuable oils and ointment, they gave her fine, new, spotless clothes. And this is how. So there is always first abhyanga before snana. And therefore these words come together, abhyanga snana. So what is abhyanga? Abhyanga means applying oil to one's body. And it is highly recommended to do abhyanga at least once a week, twice a week kind of a thing, if possible daily. And it doesn't have to be a very elaborate thing. So that's what I have learned in Ayurveda at home is that it can be just 5 minutes a day. Just before the bath, one can apply oil to at least the important joints of the body. And that just takes 5-6 minutes. And by the time, you just it can be there for 5-10 minutes, and it can be very, very useful for reducing vata. So abhyanga, snana is never simple snana. It is always abhyanga. So one has to apply oil before snana, and that was being done here. Abhyanga snana for Devahūti. Text 29. Bhushanani parardhyani variyamsi dyumanti cha anyam sarvagunopetam panam chaivam amritasavam. Translation.
They
Then they
then decorated her with very excellent and valuable jewels, which shone brightly. Next, they offered her food containing all good qualities and a sweet, inebriating drink called asavam. Purport: Asavam is an Ayurvedic medical preparation. It is not a liquor. It is specially made from drugs and is meant to improve metabolism for the healthy condition of the body.
So after suitably being bathed now and dressed, now she was given very excellent and valuable jewels. And then they offered her food containing the good qualities and a sweet, and especially a drink called as asavam. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, asava. So asava is the Ayurvedic preparation. So there are two Ayurvedic preparation. One is called as asava and another is called as arishta. So you must have seen this Saraswata arishta. If somebody is having a very, very stressful schedule, then you can take Saraswata arishta. Of course, it is not a medical advice. You have to consult doctor. But that's what, it's generally recommended. That very, very stressful person or one is not able to sleep in the night or something like that. So arishta. So what it is, the Prabhupada said this is not liquor. These are the natural leaves and certain combination of the medicine in such a way that there is some arishta in that. Okay. So these are very helpful. There is Kumarasa and Saraswata arishta. So these are something which are very natural and highly recommended, of course, with medical this thing. But these are not liquor, right? Sometimes people say Varuni. People generally have idea means they think of liquor only, and liquor means they will think of somebody just drinking and falling in the gutter. Not like that. Okay. So these are the beverages in the mode of highly in the mode of goodness, and but these are not liquor. Text 30. Athādarshe swamaatmanam stragnivan virajambaram virajam krutasvastayanam kanyabhir bahumanitam. Translation.
Then in a mirror, she beheld her own reflection. Her body was completely freed from all dirt, and she was adorned with a garland. Dressed in unsullied robes and decorated with auspicious marks of tilaka, she was served very respectfully by the maids.
So now she behold her beauty in the mirror, the way Devahūti was. She was adorned with beautiful garland, dressed with beautiful clothes, and the auspicious marks of tilaka. So this is very important thing. Tilaka is the decoration on the body, right? So this is the real ornament. So one should look up forward the opportunity to put forward the tilaka, put the tilaka on the body. So tilaka is considered as the ornament of the body, right? And they were serving her bahumanatam, that very very respectfully they were serving Devahūti. They knew the power of the potency of Devahūti, who Devahūti was. And now, because she was engaged in the austerity, she may be appearing like with the locked hair and, the emaciated body and the clothes being completely, the dirty, dusty clothes. But everybody was aware of who Devahūti was. Text 31. Snatam kruta shirasnanam sarvabharana bhushitam Nishkrayagrivam valayenam kujata kanchana puram. Translation.
Her entire body, including her head, was completely bathed, and she was decorated all over with ornaments. She wore a special necklace with a locket. There were bangles on her wrists and tinkling anklets of gold about her ankles. Purport. The word Kritashiraha Snanam appears here. According to the Smriti Shastra's directions for daily duties, ladies are allowed to bathe daily up to the neck. The hair on the head does not necessarily have to be washed daily because the mass of wet hair may cause a cold. For ladies, therefore, taking a bath up to the neck is ordinarily prescribed, and they take a full bath only on certain occasions. On this occasion, Devahuti took a full bath and washed her hair very nicely. When a lady takes an ordinary bath, it is called Malasnana, and when she takes a full bath, including the head, it is called Shirasnan. At this time, she needs sufficient oil to smear on her head. That is the direction of the commentators of Smriti Shastra. Hare Krishna.
So now she had taken her entire body, including her head, was completely bathed, right? And then she was decorated all over again with the ornaments. She was wearing the beautiful necklace all along her, and Prabhupada explains in the purport, Kshirasnana. So while men, they should be taking the head bath daily. Okay, so this is because generally how it is that the men they will not have many hair on their head. This lavanyam kesha dharanam specifically applies to this Kali Yuga symptom where men will have huge flocks of hair on their head, and this is a typical symptom of Kali Yuga. And we should not be very surprised if our children kind of exhibit that kind of a especially in teenage, because I always deal with teenage students. I'm a teacher there, so they will have such a different variety, and that generally goes away along with the teenage kind of a thing. But the point is, a man is supposed to take bath every day, head bath. The recommendation is, of course, if once again the cold and other considerations they have to be there. But the woman, they are supposed to be taking the only up to the neck. And that is, Prabhupada says there are two types of snana, mala snana and shira snana. On certain occasions only, the ladies will take the full bath, but men is supposed to take full bath every day. Of course, again, there are many who are not able to take because of cold and other reasons. But the recommendation is one should be taking full shower every day, men. Text 32. श्रोणयोरध्यस्तया काञ्चा काञ्चन्या बहुरत्नया हारेण च महरहेण रुचकेन च भूषितम्. Translation.
Translation. About her hip she wore a girdle of gold set with numerous jewels, and she was further adorned with a precious pearl necklace and auspicious substances. Purport. Auspicious substances include saffron, kumkuma, and sandalwood pulp. Before taking a bath, there are other auspicious substances such as turmeric mixed with mustard seed oil, which are smeared all over the body. All kinds of auspicious substances were used to bathe Devhuti from top to toe. Hare Krishna.
So then she was wearing the beautiful golden ornaments and application of the auspicious substances. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the auspicious substance means saffron, kumkuma, and sandalwood pulp. So essentially, it means applying tilak on the body. And before the bath, there is turmeric. So turmeric, turmeric is called as a rasayan in Ayurveda, and there is can go on hours and hours describing the importance of turmeric, right? So the turmeric mixed with the mustard seed oil, and when it is smeared all over the body before the bath, during the abhyanga, and after the bath, when is applying tilaka, and these are the auspicious substances. So to the degree we lead a life which is in sync with nature, to that degree one can actually lead a very healthy life. I have seen devotees who are like for years, they will not fall sick. It is not that they are very some strong and stout, stout body kind of a thing. No, basic structure, but they will not fall sick. So while the modern understanding of health is about how many muscles are bulging and they have different context of health, which also is correct from certain perspective, but one very important parameter of health is how frequently do I fall sick, and how frequently I have to take the tablets like the Combiflam, Brufen, this and that. How frequently I have to go to, how frequently I get admitted to the hospital for sickness, not for accident or something once a while kind of a thing. And to great extent, one will find the root of the sickness in the life is yukta ahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmavut yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. It is by one's eating habits and by one's sleeping habits, right? So the life which is excessively addicted to eating too much of a food just outside anything and everything, then there is a chance that that may take a toll on one's body. Of course, the change has to be very, very gradual in due course of time, age appropriate. These are the keywords that we always speak. But one should be aware that, how frequently do I take medicines? How frequently I am admitted? I know, one of my friend is like once in 3 months, once in 4 months, is always in the hospital. A very strong bodied person, but something like always in hospital, once in 4 months, 6 months, is always in hospital. And he's very happy also. He says that, प्रभु जी मैंने वो पूरा पैसा मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस का वसूल कर दिया. Some different kind of happiness people get. But this is so to the degree we lead a life which is in sync with Ayurveda, to that degree one can remain very healthy in the body, healthy in the mind. So this is entire section of there is there, that is called as dinacharya, rutucharya. As much as possible, without making some drastic change, not that from tomorrow we are just going to change everything, but at least 1% change we can make in our eating habits, 1% change in our sleeping habits, 1% change in our recreational habits. That also will compound to a great effect in the due course of time. Text 33. So this is a beautiful words. This is beauty of devotee is being explained here. We'll recite this verse. Sudata Subhrava Lakshna
Sudata Subhrava Lakshna
Nigdhapangena Chakshusha
Snigdhapangena Chakshusha
Makosha Sprudha Nilair
Padmakoshaspridhanile
Chalasan
Alakaischanalam Mukham.
Translation.
Her countenance shone with beautiful teeth and charming eyebrows. Her eyes, distinguished by lovely moist corner, defeated the beauty of lotus bud. Her face was surrounded by dark curling tresses. Purport: according to Vedic culture, white teeth are very much appreciated. Devahuti's white teeth increased the beauty of her face and made it look like a lotus flower. When a face looks very attractive, the eyes are generally compared to lotus petals and the face to a lotus flower. Hare Krishna.
Devavati, extremely beautiful. Now her beauty is being recited in this verse. Now look at this. Bhagavatam is Paramahamsa Samhita, right? Such great personalities as Shukadev, Vedavyas, they are discussing Bhagavatam, who are like, they are considered as Vairagya Chudamani. And the same Bhagavatam is describing beauty of, Devavati. So her beautiful teeth and the charming eyebrows, her eyes, distinguished by the lovely, moist corners, defeated the beauty of the lotus buds. Her face was surrounded by the dark curling tresses. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that the Vedic culture, white teeth are very much appreciated. Why Prabhupada is writing this? White teeth are very much appreciated. The next, the fashion is going to be like we have the colored hair fashion nowadays. People have different color of the hair, blue, and then there is yellow and different. So very soon there will be colored teeth also. Somebody has some, half the teeth has some triangular colors are there, kind of a thing. So white teeth is appreciated. And overall, she looked extremely beautiful, Devavati, the way she was. Text 34. Yada sasmara rushabham rushinam daitam patim yatra chaste sahastrebhir yatraste saprajapatihi.
When she thought of her great husband, the best of the sages, Kardama Muni, who was very dear to her, she, along with all the maidservants, at once appeared where he was. Purport. It appears from this verse that in the beginning, Devavati thought herself to be dirty and dressed in a very niggardly way. When her husband asked her to enter the lake, she saw the maidservants and they took care of her. Everything was done within the water. And as soon as she thought of her beloved husband Kardama, she was brought before him without delay. These are some of the powers attained by perfect yogis. They can immediately execute anything they desire.
Yeah. So then she thought of her great husband, that is Kardama Muni, the best of the sages Kardama, who was very dear to her, and along with her maidservants, she appeared where he was. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, these are the mystic powers of Kardama Muni, who was a devotee, right? Who was a devotee engaged in devotional service, having great mystic powers. And she was very attracted to Kardama, always, who was very dear to. So this is, the very important aspect is that, that's why we have the regulative principles. And Kali Yuga, this will become, it will become very transactional. Dampatye abhiruchirvir hetur. So, the affection between husband and wife as the Kali Yuga progresses will become very transactional. And therefore, this remaining loyal and chaste within the marriage is considered as one of the basic principle of dharma. And it is very important that we, by our conduct, and follow oneself and encourage others also to follow the same. So it is very, very important. So this is how Prabhupada says, these are some of the powers attained by the perfect yogis who can immediately execute anything they desire. This is the potency of Kardama Muni. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Gaura Bhakta ki jai. Thank you,
Yeah,
Prabhupada.
Thank you,
thank you,
Prabhu.
Prabhupada.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, thank you, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Thank you. Prabhupada.
Krishna. Prabhuji,
Yes, Prabhu.
sorry, Prabhuji. I just want to update one thing, Prabhuji. I think from tomorrow we will be having Google Meet from this port only. So I just request all the devotees to install Google Meet in their phones, because through Sport only it will go to Google Meet app.
Oh, acha, okay.
I am still in contact with Graphy for a integrated Graphy session, but it is not working properly. So there is still one update required from Graphy team, for which
Right, right.
I mailed them, and whenever the response will come, I'll do it. Till then, we'll move on to, there is a Google Meet platform. We'll move on to that project.
Yes, Prabhu, yes. We will have another meeting also, whether we want to continue with Graphy or not. There are now very good other platforms which have come up. You can just look for one Tag Mango. They are coming up in a very big way, Tag Mango.
Tag Mango. Okay, Praji. I'll check it. Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tapan Prabhu. Thank you.
Prabhu, one small question.
Yes, yes.
No, I'm asking Mukundana Prabhu.
Okay, okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, you were mentioning, when Bhagavatam mentions about this Abhyanga Sthana and other things. So just wanted to know, are these applicable to us in different, like for example, I mean, like North India, South India, all these kind of things. Is it still applicable to everyone? Like, should we consider that, or
I
time
think
circumstance?
Bhagavatam mentions a lot of what?
It was mentioning about turmeric with mustard oil. This is, I mean, for example, right? Applying this.
Yeah, so whatever, it simply means is just follow, the healthy traditions that are there in the family.
Okay.
But healthy is very important because, certain family traditions may not be very healthy also.
Yes.
Healthy in the sense, I mean, so it should be in sync with Bhagavatam
Okay.
and then the overall teachings like that. See, there was a lot of discussion once upon a time on going back to basics. One should follow one's family, this, that. One devotee came to us and he said that, Prabhuji, they come from a family which was like a butcher's family. So should I go back to my basics and become a butcher or what? So he was wondering like that. So it has limitation, I mean, that's why we say that our devotional service should not be covered over. So the basic rules and regulations that we have, the four regulative principles, the basic ideology of Srila Prabhu, the ISKCON that we follow, the basic fellows that we have in place. In sync with that, whatever is in sync with the tradition, that we should follow. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So going back to the roots means up to the roots which are in sync with our overall understanding of the Gaudiya Vaishnava principles.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.